Welcome back, ballers! Brofist to you all. We thank you for joining us on this Saturday Eve for the Cataclysm Awards. The final send-off for World of Warcraft Cataclysm. We wave it goodbye in style with shirts and a trilby and a tie and a bow tie. We always look stylish around here and we like to keep it that way. But of course, we have seen what is the best of Cataclysm. But what was the worst? What was the worst?
Trolls.
Trolls. Of course, the worst must occur. Who failed? What was the misery of your lives in Cataclysm? What made you want to leave the game? Let's take a look. Our first category is the worst 5-man dungeon.
Nice.
Ghost, what do you think was the worst 5-man dungeon? I'll go to the video. Fuck it. It's an hard question.
You fucking put me on the spot now. I look a dick. I look a dick in front of everybody. Thanks, mate. Fuck.
The worst 5-man dungeon.
My bad, man.
The Dead Mines Choo Choo. The Well of Eternity. The Stone Core. Swear to me! Swear to me! Then you're gonna love me.
Three instances, one of them that we saw in the best dungeons. That's how close the voting was. It was split among so many, but of course there has to be a winner in the losers. Oh, sad face. Let's talk about them. The Dead Mines. While we did say how fantastic it is, brilliant lore, the revamp done very, very well. Nice and long, a steady progression path. It was, of course, too long for many. Far too long and did suffer nerfs along the way. It was a sad time for many of us as this fight and this instance was absolutely incredible for many of us, but an absolute nightmare for everybody else. It was not uncommon to see so many people instantly leave the group once they saw it was Dead Mines. It was going to take too damn long. Your instance is too damn long.
The requirements are too damn high.
Absolutely correct. Unfortunately, Dead Mines was there. Well of Eternity, also voted as one of the worst dungeons in Cataclysm. A new dungeon and surprising to see it so high on the list. However, this is not surprising. A hell of a lot of lore and RP. Finally, they did make that skippable. A couple of terrible, terrible bosses, not including the disgrace that is Queen Ashara. What a horrible fucking fight that is, Blizzard. What the fuck? We don't even fight it.
What a dick.
Huge crit buffs, and of course the classic running away from eyeballs and standing in fire just was not good enough. Simple trash with huge gaps in between it, waiting for Illidan to get us into stealth to move around, had a lot of things that really pissed off the player base. Really, really did. Very unhappy with
Hipster Illidan had AoE stealth before it was cool.
The Stone Core! The Stone Core is one of the most difficult pieces of content delivered in Cataclysm. Not only was every trash pack fraught with danger, those Earthshapers, those bloody berserkers that stack bleed buffs. If you did this in original gear, the Stone Core was quite literally a huge pain in the ass.
It would eat your dick.
It would eat your dick. Like Kobayashi. The Stone Core again, moving on, had more trash which was difficult and involved jumping to a cast bar.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Really?
Patrols that a lot of groups would let ninja pull, causing wipes with extra trash coming in. Osruk, one of the most difficult bosses in there, that also had spell reflect, purge, and required healers to reflect spells onto themselves in order to be able to heal it. And the final boss, of course, which had a very tight meteor in its original incarnation, which many people could not see for some fucking reason. I'm looking at you, whoever died to that. You suck.
Out of nowhere, mate.
Ghost! For the Pipelope! Which I know you can't see.
You're kidding me. I've got the pipe up right here, you bitch.
The worst dungeon in all of Cataclysm is...
Can I read this one?
Oh, you go ahead.
The Well of Eternity.
The Well of Eternity, with an overwhelming 60% of the voting. The Well of Eternity was voted by you, the people watching this right now, as the worst 5-man in all of Cataclysm.
It makes you play a night elf.
It was too damn boring.
It was too damn boring.
Turned into night elves against our will. A lot of people didn't like that aspect of it. They certainly didn't like stealthing around, pulling random trash, and of course those ever-present pug failures who came back into your dungeon and continued to die on the trash because they didn't know how to get around it. And of course, clicking beacons, which as we know, causes many and many a stressful moment when we all stand around and realise that nobody has pressed the fucking beacon. We've already spoke about Queen Ashara. Manaroth requiring a blade to be thrown into him, which many people did not realise, even with the gigantic message in front of it. And just generally annoying trash and a lot of standing around waiting for RP characters to carry on through the dungeon.
To hurry the fuck up is what they were waiting for.
To the Well of Eternity, we give you the one-fingered salute.
Fuck off! Shit.
Moving on. Our next category is the worst class of Cataclysm. The worst class. We had our best class. What is the worst? The warrior stands high and proud, but did many people believe him to be the worst class in Cataclysm? What do you think, Ghost?
I'm not a fan of casters, my friend. So, I think with that in mind, there's going to be some sort of caster relation, because my word's usually like important to me specifically.
The worst class in Cataclysm. The Warlock.
It's a good looking warlock, even though it's a shit fucking class.
The Shaman.
That was cool shit, by the way.
The Death Knight.
Piece of shit.
That's good to me, mate. I'm just saying, you know.
Those are the nominees for the worst class in Cataclysm. Ooh, they're all pretty bad. They're all pretty bad in some way, but not all of them are the worst. Which one is the worst? We'll find out right now.
Dick.
Let's talk about them. The Warlock. The Warlock suffered the most throughout Cataclysm, one of the least played classes for a variety of reasons. Compared to every other class, the Warlock required so much extra effort for the same reward that many people simply gave up on it. For the longest time, the Warlocks were stuck in the middle of the DPS, with only the very exceptional able to really excel. In PvP, they had the same problem. Having to work extremely difficult to always produce results led them to being one of the worst played class. No, the least played class across the player base throughout all of Cataclysm. The Shaman. The Shaman suffered a lot through Cataclysm. Enhancement never quite pulling its weight, never quite topping the meters, never had its moment in the glory.
But a lot of effort.
But a lot of effort again, a lot of effort, a lot of spells to manage. The truly, truly great players who invested great time into their class could get the results. But for the majority of the player base, enhancement was just never meant to be. Resto Shaman suffered throughout all of early Cataclysm until the Spirit Link totem came into play. And Elemental suffered immense bugs with both its Fire Totem, which was key for DPS, and general DPS issues throughout all of Cataclysm, even with the legendaries. Moving on. What was the other one? The DK! The DK. I have no fucking idea why you guys voted the DK.
I don't like it.
All I can get across on this one is the DK has been sound through all of Cataclysm. This one really surprised me. However, the common moment of truth from you guys was that blood DKs in PvP really ruined your experience.
Their health regeneration was too damn high!
Too damn high! Their DKs, literally the entire DK class seems to have been voted against because of blood DKs in PvP, really ruining your time. I apologise for the DKs. As a DK for most of Cataclysm, I found them fantastic. I've got to be honest. But still, they're up there. You guys voted for them. So which one was the worst?
I'll let you have this one.
To pipe up.
If you would. Let me take the inhale.
The worst class in all of Cataclysm is the Warlock, which makes me really sad because I played one for a while.
I don't like them. You've still got to get the same send-off, mate. Fuck casters.
Indeed. Warlocks dropped off the face of the earth throughout all of Cataclysm. It was no surprise that many guilds struggled to find a Warlock unless they already had one who would stick with the class. So many Warlocks quit during Cataclysm, and I really do not blame them. It was a sad time for all. They had to work extremely hard. And not only that, many of them are pushed into demonology in their raiding stance in order to provide a shitty buff because there's no Ellie Shamans around and their DPS sucked anyway. A sad time for the Warlocks, unfortunately. But the Warlocks, we give you the one-fingered salute. And hopefully, Mists of Pandaria Warlocks, you're having a great time. We really do wish you the best.
Put that in your minion and smoke it, you caster bastards.
Pretty sad. Moving on, the worst raid instance. One I was particularly looking forward to. I don't think there is any doubt in anybody's mind as to what won this category, therefore we won't try to big it up.
It doesn't even need a pipelope.
It does not even need a pipelope.
They should have renamed it to the worst raid instance in Cataclysm.
They should have renamed it to that. It is, of course, the Dragon Soul. Let's watch a little tribute to the Dragon Soul before we go into this.
The Dragon Soul was the last instance, raiding instance.
The Dragon Soul.
More chocolate. Corporate. That's some nice camouflage. Flyby.
Into the maw.
Right into the vag. Zono's mate.
Jonas is good. No. She's rubbing. About to kill a tiger. I don't see it. Have you seen it?
It's hard, yeah. It makes people Hey guys,
I'm going to spawn this ball.
Let's go on to this though, mate. I've just fucking fired my ribbons of jism all around the instance and I want you to kill one of them. Right, like. That's a nice one.
Oh, I shot one.
Hi, dollar bills, y'all. Oh, don't stun me. It's like, fuck it, sounds like Cleveland. No, no, no. Oh, nice, mate. That's legit. Has he got a mouth on the side of his head? What a spaz. Hey, guys. For this encounter, you've got to press one button.
Oh, though, if he just landed, he would.
The fucking butt nuts of the entire instance. And then it's just like pitch black, like ooh, what do I do here? Like find the light. What if it's a you know, like crows and shit.
Yeah, the crows were cool.
That's fucking smash so much up. Oh, nice, man, that's been cool. Imagine that you at this Jay. I'm just gonna fucking clean up around. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go. What it?
Let's take a deep breath before we go back on camera.
It's not too much smacking.
Hello! The Dragon Soul, unfortunately, the dire instance that was the Dragon Soul.
Piece of shit.
There isn't many good words about the Dragon Soul. Even though that video I actually thought made it look pretty cool.
Right.
Which I should have done a worse job trying to get clips. Just like a picture of a wall.
From a standard
I should have done
UI.
it to the Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Don't incorporate Gangnam Style with shit stuff.
Okay, let's talk about the Dragon Soul. The Dragon Soul's major flaw is its overhypedness. Dragon Soul, of course, being billed as the fight where we will meet Deathwing. Deathwing literally destroyed Azeroth. That's what happened. I didn't make that happen. You didn't make that happen.
True, I didn't.
Nobody over there made it happen. Blizzard made that happen. It's bigger than Stormwind. Deathwing is bigger than Stormwind. He's
Doesn't look
awesome. He's fucking awesome and immense. And what we got was a big pile of crap. Unfortunately, to the other bosses, which are actually quite cool, Zonos and Yorsage, I actually think are very cool bosses. I also thought Warmaster Blackhorn was a particularly cool boss as well. Ultraxion, not so much. But clicking the button, we've seen that before. Nothing special there. Morchok, he was okay. Morchok was fine. Nothing brilliant, nothing terrible. Even his heroic form, he was okay. He was fine. But then, of course, we actually got to Deathwing. And not even brilliant CG movies of what we were doing intermixed into the instance could save the abomination that is the Deathwing fight in its both parts. The spine of Deathwing, where we literally fight the moles on his back. And then, of course, Deathwing himself, who didn't go into Cataclysm expecting to have Deathwing stood in front of them, a la Nefarian back in Blackwing Lair, to fight that giant, monolithic, epic creature in some way, shape or form, only to end up fighting both his fingernails and his crusty tentacles.
Or his chin.
And his chin, of course, the most important part of Deathwing, which was his chin. We fought his blood, we fought his tentacles, but at no point did we actually fight Deathwing.
You know what else, mate? He's that stupid, he lets himself get caught over the maelstrom.
Of all the places to fly Deathwing, Spine of Deathwing Heroic is not a particularly short fight.
No.
Neither is Spine of Deathwing Normal or Spine of Deathwing Looking for Raid.
And you got to
A
think of his
slight
size.
deviation.
Yeah. And his size will immediately indicate that he'll be over that maelstrom like that.
He knew it was coming.
He knew it was coming.
He's travelled the world.
He felt them on his back because he rolls them. He tries to roll them off. Why not hover over the maelstrom for you to put me in it?
Indeed. Indeed, a very, very poor finish to Cataclysm, unfortunately. And with the lack of extra content since Cataclysm, the Dragon Soul was released, of course, we've been stuck with the Dragon Soul for far too long. To the Dragon Soul, we say goodbye. We do not salute you. We do give you this. Bye, Deathwing, you piece of shit boss fight. Onwards!
Oh, mate, that was like Pulp Fiction. Like, pow, 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 pow.
Onwards we go into our next category, of course, which is the worst raid boss. What was the worst raid boss? Now, again, it is very difficult for us to not make this big, because there are two categories. There were only 2 votes by everybody who voted, which was a lot of you. There was literally 2 fights that got voted for the worst. I bet everybody's going to be very surprised when they find out what they are. Let us go to the VT so they can find out. Here are the nominees for the worst raid boss in Cataclysm.
I'm not even going to say anything. It doesn't warrant my answer.
The worst raid boss.
The spine of Deathwing. Piece of shit. The madness of Deathwing.
Hey guys. Don't hit me. No, 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 no!
Go, 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 go.
Comment of the day goes to the chap who watched that video and went, "You've left your hunter pet on the corruption douche." That, of course, was Looking for Raid. Madness of Deathwing and Spine of Deathwing. Overwhelmingly voted by you. The only two choices you guys really put forward as the worst raid bosses in all of Cataclysm, which says a hell of a lot about the ending of Cataclysm and why we are looking forward so much to what those pandas are going to bring home. The final boss. The crushing crescendo.
The power grab, maybe.
I like the guy at BlizzCon. How about some war? You know, so, yeah, I'll show you that video later. I think it's Chris Metzen. He looks around and just goes, "Any alliance out there?" It's pretty cool.
You should have been a wrestler.
I should have been a wrestler. You know what? I'm the Madness of Deathwing.
I got something to say to the lions out there in Azeroth. I'm coming to get you.
Well said, mate. Well said.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate.
Madness of Deathwing and Spine of Deathwing in their normal, looking for raid, and heroic versions have plagued the player base since they were brought in. Looking for raid very often saw people stop DPSing the tentacle. I think people had that macroed by the end of Cataclysm.
No, I have macroed. Get your fucking pets off the tendon!
Dismiss pets! Dismiss pets! We've got an extra amalgamation. And of course, the full health amalgamation is the one that is tanked over the bloods, and everybody looking for raid cries their eyes out. In normal mode, it's not too bad, but it is excessively boring. Essentially, we are fighting the back of Deathwing. How fucking dull is that? And in heroic, of course, notoriously, the most difficult fight for all the wrong reasons. Incredible amounts of class stacking just to meet a stupidly tight DPS timer, and world first kills that were made and lost by the ability to find epic gems cross-realm. Any boss that requires people to purchase cross-realm transfers to buy gems is fucking broken. Madness of Deathwing, as we have already said, we expect to fight Deathwing. He's been everywhere throughout Cataclysm. He's burned us in random places while we level. He has been everywhere. He has leveled cities to the ground. And yet we fight his claws and his chin. Those fights, awful. Would you like to announce what is the worst raid boss in all of Cataclysm?
You've got to work the teleprompter, mate. I can't see it. I can't see the teleprompter. Look at the teleprompter.
Yeah, let me type it in what you need to say.
The worst thing for the Deathwing thing is... It's not the teleprompter.
Read it.
You need to scroll down.
Fuck off. Oh.
Now I'd like an apology if you wouldn't mind.
There it is. It's there.
Because you've just scrolled down to it anyway, mate. Fuck this shit. Without further ado, y'all! The worst boss is...
Spine!
I'm not even going to do it.
What a piece of shit Spine of Deathwing Heroic is. What an awful, awful idea. At some point, somewhere, probably California, in a nice sunny shine, a meeting was had where they discussed how Deathwing should be fought. And somebody suggested, why don't we have them fight blood on his back? The fuck is your problem,
Brad
man?
from accounting.
Brad from accounting.
Brad from accounting walked past with his trolley with his mail in. And he's like, "Hey guys, you just doing the actually bosses for Dragon Soul?
Hey, why don't we fight on his back and tear his armor plating off? That'll be cool.
I got this idea, right? I got these big ass spots on my back. Why don't we do that for Deathwing?"
Oh, gross.
Yeah, that's what I
Fighting
mean.
that. We fought his acne.
Yeah, Brad's acne was the basis for Spine.
Fuck you, Brad.
Fuck you, Brad.
To the Spine of Deathwing, we send you on your merry way as we will never fight you again. In true fashion.
I'm gonna do it electrically. You ready? Time it with me.
Goodbye, Spine of Deathwing. May we never pull you again.
No, stay around because I need to finish my dagger quest when Mist comes out. If you could do that, that'd be great.
Only fucking complete arseholes are going to do Spine of Deathwing after.
Dude, I need like
Cataclysm.
4 kills. No, don't it? Leave me be. It's shit. Don't get me out.
To the semi-final category, the worst spec in Cataclysm. What was the worst? 31 to choose from. You guys voted. The worst spec in all of Cataclysm. Let's take a look at the nominees.
Let's do that. Oh, we've got a video.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, mate. Go with the VT. That stands for videotape.
Do it.
The worst class and spec. Enhancement Shaman.
People rage when you say shaman, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
Shaman. Barking dog in the background.
That's the dog. I put myself
The demonology
on.
with a black screen.
Low tech as fuck. Oh,
Oh, there it is. That's me. No, that's a random warlock. It's not even me. Is that only them two? What was the other one? Enhancement shaman. Oh, there it is. Dickhead.
The blood decay. Swear to me.
several choices there from you guys for the worst spec in all of Cataclysm. But which one was the worst? Let's talk about it. Once again, Blood Decays made it back into the worst specs. Again, because of their nightmarish presence in your battlegrounds. For many of you who run your random BGs, the Blood Decay was the worst, the most frustrating, the most annoying, and the most tedious class that you came up against. The Demo Warlock. The Demo Warlock. Again, another vote towards the Demo Warlocks. They were voted the worst class in all of Cataclysm. But are they the worst spec as well? The Demonology Warlock suffered throughout Cataclysm because it had to bring a raid buff. A raid buff that could only elsewhere be supplied by the Elemental Shamans, which weren't exactly in ready supply. Demonology was a very tedious spec, requiring lots of pet swapping in order to maximise performance, and use previous trinkets from old tier content in order to be played well. They also involved gear swapping to be truly maximised. Not only that, but all this effort could sometimes just lead to mediocre DPS if you made any slight mistakes. Very sad. Very, very sad.
What are you going to do about it?
The Enhancement Shaman. The Enhancement Shaman, again, as we said earlier, suffered from a multitude of extra spells. Finally, during Firelands, the end of Firelands, their AoE was finally fixed, making them subpar throughout 2 tiers of content in terms of AoE. Lots of keys, lots of management, and only the dedicated few of the Enhancement Shaman players from way, way past made it through all those things. So what was the worst? What was the worst? Ghost?
Let me just get the pipe envelope. Oh. Aha, right, okay. Yeah. I know some of these words. Yeah. Do you want me to do it? Do you want to do it? I'm going to do it. Just roll that back up there, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Enhancements.
The Enhancement Shaman overwhelmingly voted as the worst spec in all of Cataclysm. And I feel this is really, really sad. Because they were such tryhards. They tried so hard. It must be pointed out that extremely close was the Demonology Warlock. It was literally 1 vote between them. The Enhancement Shaman came out on top, but I think a little special note needs to be made for the Demonology Warlock, who suffered from very similar issues. An abundance of spells, in comparison to the other classes, that need to be utilised in a special way in order to produce the same results as those classes that did not need to do that. A lot of players who were not great at managing all that and their environment died a hell of a lot more than other classes that didn't need to do that. And it left a permanent message in your heads that I'm working very hard for average at best DPS. I feel sorry for the Enhancement Shaman, and I hope Mists of Pandaria is great for you. It has not been a great expansion. Blizzard is to blame, not me. I want you to know that. So, to the Demonology Warlock spec and the Enhancement Shaman of Cataclysm, not Mists of Pandaria, we send those specs on their merry way. 3, 2, 1. Goodbye. And let's hope Mists of Pandaria fixes them up proper. On to our final category before we continue with our normal web show. The MVP. The class and spec that is voted by myself as the best.
Oh, here we go.
Which one did I believe was the class and spec that stood out above all the rest? The MVP message goes to you, the Resto Shaman. The Resto Shaman had the worst start to any expansion they have ever faced. being completely unable to cope with the healing in tier 11, being brought as mana batteries for their friends. 1 Resto Shaman per raid just for Mana Tide. But then the changes started to come. And now the Resto Shaman stands proud, as it should do, for those players who stood by the Resto Shaman through the thick, through the thin, and through the hardships. You guys came out on top, and now you are the #1 healer in the Dragon Soul Heroic. I salute you, my friends, as the most brought healing class of all of Fireland's heroic progression, more so than any other healer. The same occurred in Dragon Soul, with many players having to re-roll 2 Shaman in order to bring their buffs. After such a horrendous start to Cataclysm, you are my MVP, Resto Shamans, and I hope Mists of Pandaria does not shit on you like the beginning of Cataclysm did. A bro fist for the Resto Shaman.
I'll do that.
We will take a 1-minute break, and then it is the transmog competition. You guys have been submitting your transmography that you've worked on for a hell of a long time. This lad has been choosing the winners. Let's see what he came up with. We'll be back in 2 minutes because it is about 800 degrees in here. We'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere!